You're listening to the Patriot Nation Podcast, presented by Pat's Pulpit.
All right, welcome back to the Patriot Nation Podcast. As always, your boy Pat Lane here with Matt St. Jean. Matt, it's Super Bowl week. It's finally Super Bowl week, which is good, but that means the end of the football season. But then the postseason, the off season's here, which is pretty nice.
The season never really ends. The football itself might stop, but
that's very true.
Hey, this is the first time in a long time there's been a lead up to a Super Bowl in Arizona that the Patriots have not been involved in. It's strange.
It's a great point. That's a great point. Yeah.
So I know we're going to talk about the Super Bowl later and preview it, but I think Arizona, from an aesthetic perspective, I think that's the best place for a Super Bowl because you get the grass field inside. It's West Coast, so the game starts in sunlight. You can have the roof open. It's the aesthetics of that Patriots Seahawks Super Bowl where you start with like the daylight and then it darkens as the game goes on. It's pristine. And you get the grass fields. You get like the grass stains, and it feels like real football.
Yeah. And it's, when the game ends the way the game ended, that game, it's hard not to be nostalgic about that.
A lot of classic games played there. Obviously, there's one we'd like to forget, but you go to college football too. That Boise State Oklahoma game ending with the Statue of Liberty, and it's the hook and ladder in there. That was at that stadium.
Yeah. That's crazy. They ran the fact that they ran the Statue of Liberty and then the hook and ladder on the 2-point conversion is just insane.
Yeah. Well, no, they did. No, they did this. They did the hook and ladder to tie the game, and then they did a halfback pass in overtime again for the touchdown, and then the Statue of Liberty for the 2-point to win it.
Insane. And then didn't the running back proposed to his girlfriend right afterwards or something like that?
Yeah, it was the cheerleader.
That's right.
That's a movie. Right. That is a movie.
I know.
The thing that gets left out of all of that is that at the end of the fourth quarter there, the Boise State quarterback threw a pick six, which is why Oklahoma had the lead, and then they had to go through all that. But
crazy. But that was a hell of a game.
All time.
So, all right, well, for the it's not officially the offseason yet, but for the Patriots, the offseason has already started. Started quite a few weeks ago at this point. So I did the same thing last year, but I decided to release my first mock draft of the off season. Pretty popular. It's a decent amount of clicks on it. I think it ended up on Bleacher Report, which is why
look at you,
cool.
Pat.
So no big deal, but which was cool. So that was fun. I will say there's a lot of pressure because last year I projected Marcus Jones to go 85 in my mock draft 1.0. So not only did I get the player right, but I actually got the exact pick correct last year. So a lot of pressure on me.
You got to do it again this year.
So it'd be pretty nice. We'll see what happens. I like this mock draft a lot. So I feel like I'd be pretty happy if they did any of that stuff. So we'll see. But of course, this stuff is before the combine, and after the Shrine Bowl and after the Senior Bowl, but that's just really we don't have any access to any of that stuff. PFF's draft boards have not been updated to reflect any of those things. Oh, this guy dominated that. They haven't, none of those things have been changed. So
the Draft Network is way behind. I'd even say the Athletic, Prospects to Pros, that podcast they do is really good and gets into this, but the actual written material that's out is not. It's not fully there.
Yeah.
It won't be until after the Super Bowl.
Right. We were talking about this before. I remember, from my first mock last year, I feel like I had a lot of Twitter threads, and I posted that in January last year. So it was strange for me to not really see a lot. Like I said, I didn't post in January, but I was writing it in January and saw a decent amount of Twitter threads, and I'm getting really nothing here. And even Marcus Jones had a highlight reel on YouTube. I can't find any freaking highlight reels of people on YouTube. It's crazy. I'm like, just give me a highlight reel so I can do nothing. I've got nothing.
It's a weird year. Maybe it has always started later and we just didn't notice because we were always in the Super Bowl and we're always in the playoffs. The season ended for us a week earlier this year, so maybe that's
true too. Yep,
maybe that's a part of it. Usually at this point in the season for us, we'd be getting ready for the parade, figuring out how much money we were going to spend on championship merch. Like, we're going to get both DVDs this year or just one of them.
Yeah.
Like
those days are sadly. I mean, I don't want to say they're over because you
No.
always have a chance, but they are certainly on the back burner for right now. And we'll see if that happens. So anyways, all right, let's get into my mock draft 1.0. And as I said, you're going to hear some of these names. And the cool thing about this, Matt, is that you haven't seen it yet. You weren't one of the people that
I wanted to save my first reactions for the show.
Yep.
So.
It was pretty cool. So I'm giving it to you straight up. You haven't heard it yet. So at pick 14, Patriots trade with the Cincinnati Bengals.
Okay.
Patriots trade 14 and 76 to Cincinnati for 28 and T. Higgins. Now, it's a pretty big bombshell, okay? Here's the thing, right? And this is where you kind of come out the gate firing, okay? I know A.J. Brown was just traded for number 18 last year. He's A.J. Brown. Stephon Diggs was traded for 21 a few years back. He's Stephon Diggs, right? T. Higgins is very good. Don't get me wrong. T. Higgins is very good. He's a number two wide receiver right now. He's never really proven he can be a number one wide receiver. I know Chase was hurt for a bit this year, and he did play well when Chase was out. But has he 100% proven that he's a number one receiver? If you do that, okay, I look at that and say, all right, if that's the case, fine. This trade gets you about pick 32, 31, 32, somewhere around 30, 33, maybe somewhere around there. That's the value for 14 and 76 versus 28, right? And so you're talking about a high second round pick for T. Higgins, essentially, is what you're talking about. And maybe that's not enough, but I think it's at least close to enough, especially if there's someone on the board. Like if there's a dominant tackle on the board and the Bengals feel like we got to go up and get that guy, this might get it done.
Yeah. See, the issue here for you, Pat, is that since you did this mock, between that and now, T. Higgins has come out and said that he would like to stay in Cincinnati for his career.
What's he going to say?
Yeah. Well, I mean, here's I love this. I've always liked T. Higgins. He was one of my top receivers in that draft. When he came out, I thought he was a guy who had an exceptionally high floor. I didn't know how good he'd be, but I thought there was no way he was going to be a bad player, and I think he's proven he can be as good of a number two as you're going to get. So on that basis, I like the trade. If the Pats do this, I'm immediately following up and trading away Devontae Parker.
Yes,
because
I agree with you.
I like Parker a lot. I like Higgins a lot. They're both contested catch jump ball guys in a lot of ways. They're both vertical outside threats.
Right.
And if you're going to spend all your time with both of them on the field, I think that's tough for Mac.
I agree.
That's tough for Tyquan Thornton. So you only want one of those. I mean, that's
makes sense.
Is really good. So he's everything Devontae Parker is, but better and
younger.
Healthier and younger.
Right. Yeah. Nope. So anyway, so that's that pick. What I love about it, obviously, is you stay in the first round, right? You trade away a third round pick, you trade away your high first round pick, but you stay at the end of the first round, which is nice.
Mm-hmm.
So anyways, at 28, I had the Patriots staying there and picking Joey Porter Jr. from Penn State. Patriots need an outside corner, 6'2", 194, physical guy, plays, kind of twitchy. Not the greatest athlete in the world, but I think he's a pretty good athlete. Like he's,
he'll work.
He's a good enough for his size, that he can recover. Yeah. So, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Yeah. So,
I like the, and I'm going to address that comment in a sec here. I'm all over that.
Oh yeah.
But no, I like that. I think he's a fit. Really, my only concern with it, because I don't think that could ever be a bad pick. My only concern is there's a lot of depth at corner in this draft. I feel like, especially at outside corner, and could you get a guy that good later? Potentially, but if you think you can get a guy that good right now, and you think he's going to be that good, you don't pass up on it. If Joey Porter Jr. is available there, I like it.
I agree.
He's a guy that's good.
The one stipulation I'd make is maybe like he doesn't have to bring his dad with him or something like that.
Hey, I always liked Joey Porter. He's I I love defensive players that play with that kind of energy. I think you need that to play
Yeah.
on defense,
Yeah.
especially,
Yeah, that's
especially on
true.
the outside. Yeah,
That's true.
I see that Thaddeus Skywalker over there talking about Zay Flowers. I would love Zay Flowers in this spot if he were available to. If you're going to get T Higgins, you're going to have T Higgins on the outside and Tyquan Thornton probably doing a little bit of everything. Zay Flowers is your other guy. I mean, you get straight line speed with Tyquan Thornton, quickness with Zay Flowers, and just a big guy who can catch everything in T. Higgins. That's all your roles at receiver. And if Bill O'Brien can use that well, you could do a lot.
Imagine if they traded back, got T. Higgins, paid T. Higgins a bunch of money, and then spent a first round draft pick on another wide receiver. Like people would go absolutely insane. And I think in a good way, probably, but people would go nuts. So
literally, I only have two question marks about Zay Flowers. One is his hands. He had a bad drop rate in college. He also didn't have great quarterback play. So I think Mac throws a more catchable ball. We'd see how that goes in the pros. The other thing, I just want to see what his athleticism looks like. He was able to dust guys in the ACC. I just want to make sure his testing matches what I'm seeing on tape. I'm not that worried, but if he goes to the what do you call it? The combine and has a bad 3-cone or something, all right, maybe not a first rounder, maybe a second rounder.
Right. That's going to be a big question. So
yeah.
So we'll see. All right. Patriots at 46 trade back again at 46. They trade 46 and 259, their last pick in the 7th round, to the Jaguars for 56 and 88. So moves them back 10 spots, but picks up that 3rd round pick that they traded away in the T. Higgins deal a little bit later, of course, but it works for them. And then at 56, I have them taking DeJuan Jones. He's a guy that I kind of have circled a little bit where I don't know. And he may go, what might end up happening is that he may end up going a lot earlier than I'm comfortable taking him. I don't feel like he's a first round talent. He is a very good right tackle. It seems like his hands, he's just so freaking big. He's so huge. And his wingspan, he was the longest wingspan in the history of the Senior Bowl. I mean, that's ridiculous that he has the longest. I think they said he has the wingspan of someone that's like 7'6" or something like that. So his arms are long. He can use his arms, and his strength is fantastic. So a guy that can solidify potentially your right tackle spot, I like it a lot. Now he doesn't have the flexibility to play left tackle right now. Maybe they could teach them that. But I feel like if you have a guy that's really good at right tackle, you just leave him at right tackle and let him go to work. But anyways, that's what I have at 56.
I like that. This team needs offensive line help. They could use a tackle, and if you're not getting it in the first round, I think you got to get it in the second. DeJuan Jones is a guy I've even seen in the first in some mocks. Yeah. So if you're getting him in the second, I'm very happy with that.
Agreed. All right, so at 88, I had the Patriots taking. This is gonna be. I don't know how you're gonna feel. Oh, this one.
Oh boy, this is around the Marcus Jones spot. So let's hear it.
I have them taking Hendon Hooker, quarterback from Tennessee.
I don't hate it.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I have my issues with the pick. None of them have to do with the fact that you're taking a quarterback here.
Mm-hmm.
My issues with the pick are Hendon Hooker is older, and I have issues about how well he can see the field. I was talking in the SCO Show Slack, talking to one of the guys there who's been watching a lot of Jalen Hyatt, the receiver from Tennessee, and one of his big takeaways was a lot of what they do requires the quarterback to only be looking at half the field.
Right. And
that I'm not sure how that translates. That said, if they sit down with Hendon Hooker and they interview him, they talk to the coaches and they say, "Oh, okay, they were doing this for other reasons. We know he can play quarterback." Here's the thing: this is the Jalen Hurts pick.
Right.
I love Mac Jones. I think Mac Jones can be a franchise quarterback. Nobody knows if he will be. You keep taking shots until you get a guy.
Right.
If you think there's value at the quarterback position, whether it be anywhere in the first round to the 7th round, if there's a guy you like where you're looking at your board and you're saying, we had this guy rated way higher than where we're at right now, I think you haven't seen enough of quarterback right now to say we can't take somebody.
Right. Well, the big thing for me, and Z-Tac saying that I lost him, and I don't blame him. I mean, I got a lot of pushback on this one, and understandably so. But my reasoning behind it was that if he didn't tear his ACL this year, if he was healthy coming out, he'd be a 1st or 2nd round pick, guaranteed 1st or 2nd round.
See,
pick.
I don't know if that's the case.
He's got
I'm not sold on that.
see,
I think he'd be a second
thing
rounder.
yes, but the thing is, he's got the arm. Yeah, Hoyer's definitely gone. Yeah, I would assume. So he's got the arm. He's got the arm talent for it, and he has the mobility. And so because he has both things, and now you're right? Maybe he can't read a defense, and maybe that becomes clear. You sit down with him, you're like, no, this guy can't read defense. Like he's not the guy, right? So you know that. I actually think it's advantageous for the Patriots that he has an ACL and can't play this year because it allows him to learn in the classroom, and there's zero quarterback controversy. All right, we drafted him in the third round, but that doesn't mean anything, right?
It'll be Mac and Zappy, and
exactly. And if Mac comes out and plays, plays lights out this year, well, then there's not even anything to talk about. But this is a big year for Mac. If he doesn't play well, you have a quarterback sitting waiting that could theoretically come in and push for a spot next year, right? And again, we'll see. But that was kind of my thought process behind it. I understand where people push back a lot on that one, and I understand it. But
how old is Hendon Hooker?
I think he's like 24. He's not young.
Is he older than Mac Jones right now?
It's certainly possible. He's 25.
Yeah.
January 13th, 1988.
He's like, and that's
he just turned 25.
Yeah, but that's really my only issue. I have no issue with quarterback in this draft. I have no issue with quarterback in that spot. I'm not convinced Hendon Hooker is the guy I'd want to take the bet. Like I'd rather, if we were gonna do the whole Jalen Hurts thing, I liked Jalen Hurts in the second a lot more than Hendon Hooker in the third.
Yep. No, it makes sense. It makes sense. So, and you're not wrong. And that's the thing. Like people will push back on it, and I got no problem with that, right? But at this point, I feel like it's fun to throw some names out there. And Hooker's a guy that I feel like, and maybe he'll be available later than the third round. I don't know, right? But he's a guy that I feel like you can take a shot at a guy like that and just see what happens, So
yeah, and that's I like the quarterback pick.
Yeah,
I think that.
But yeah, the guy you disagree with, which is cool.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's I do want to clearly state this again for Patriot Nation. Like, there's a middle ground here where you can like and support Mac Jones and want to give him the best chance for the future, and also see that he has not proven that he's the best guy for the future. And you need to continue taking shots on finding that guy until you get that guy.
And this is the year. You have to. Yeah. Mac has to show you this year, because if he doesn't, you have to make the decision on his fifth-year option at the end of this year. And you probably have to pick it up, but not necessarily if you see what you saw last year from Mac Jones. You probably don't pick it up.
No, what you're hoping from Mac this year. Number one is that he is really good, and you don't have to worry about picking up the option because he's worth it, or that he's bad enough that you can pick for another quarterback the year before, and there is no question mark about whether or not you're picking up the option.
Exactly.
We don't want to Daniel Jones this.
Exactly. Yes, that's 100%. All right, so next pick is 107, first pick in the fourth round for the Patriots. They have multiple fourth-round picks, as they do. Pick 107, I have Joe Tippmann, center from Wisconsin. This kid is an absolute mauler. 6'6",
center from Wisconsin. You got me. I don't need to know anything else.
6'6", 317. 6'6", pretty tall for a center. But he's given up 4 hurries and 1 sack in the last 2 years total. So which is pretty good. So, he's good. His footwork can use a little bit of work, but you're not drafting him to start this year. You're drafting him to start next year. And that's why
he's your Ted Karras this year, your backup, and
exactly. Yep.
Which we're assuming like David Andrews is back next year, right?
I mean, it sounds like it. I think he said right after the last game that he was coming back next year. So
yeah.
So all right. Next pick is 10 picks later, 117. Another pick, of course, in the fourth round, and we're going to go with Quindell Johnson, safety from Memphis. Quindell Johnson. He has a little bit of size. I think he's 6'2". Hold on, I'm looking it up right now. I believe he's is it 6'2"?
Safety is a need. Devin McCourty. Yeah. Hey, Devin McCourty, I'm assuming he's not back next year, but if he is back next year, that's it.
Yeah.
So
It sounds like he's not.
they need.
He tweeted that thing out where if Brady's coming back to New England or something like that, and then he's like, "Oh, my wife was already on me for that." Seems like he's probably done. So Quindale Johnson, from Memphis, 6'1", 204. He's not huge. He struggles a little bit tackling, which I think his worst trait is tackling. To be honest with you, which isn't great for.
I don't think the Pats would draft him then.
But he's a willing tackler. He's just not a great tackler. He'll throw his nose in there, but he has a lot of experience playing deep safety, and so he's played it a decent amount, and he has good instincts. So he's around the ball a decent amount, and so that's kind of the thing for me where it's like I don't know if they'll take him, and they might be able to get him later in the 4th round. But he's a guy that just kind of when I watched him a little bit, I'm like, oh, I kind of like this guy. So
Who's that safety they had in the Shrine Bowl who they coached? Guy from Florida.
Trey Dean.
Yeah.
So he's a guy that could. And you know what? That was one of those things. So I start my Shrine Bowl. My Shrine Bowl list starts right after this pick. I was like, I can't pick all Shrine Bowl guys. I'm like, I gotta go different. You know what I mean?
Well, shake it. We'll get some different names in there.
So exactly, that's the idea.
Yeah,
so,
I like the positions you're picking so far.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
My next one is pick 135.
Can I guess who this is? This is 5th round, right?
It's still the end of the 4th round.
Okay.
It's the end of the 4th round though. This will probably be like the J.C. Jackson pick.
Are you going for a specialist here by any chance?
I am not.
Okay, I didn't know if this was Jake Moody territory.
Jake Moody, I have, but later. I don't know if it'll last till later. But he isn't. Spoiler alert: he is in the draft later.
Yeah, I'm assuming. I'm just kind of assuming we're taking Jake Moody at this point.
I mean, 100%. Come on.
Yeah, this is a Shrine Bowl guy.
It is. Though I don't think he was a Patriots Shrine Bowl guy. That's Jose Ramirez, edge defender from Eastern Michigan. 6'2", 249. He is not an elite pass rusher, but good enough pass rushing skills, really good against the run, can play the 4-3 edge, might even be able to play the 3-4 edge if he has to. And so, I like what he can do. He's like a, heady guy, plays well. He's one of those edge defenders that I feel like the Patriots where he doesn't necessarily
the Ronnie Perkins, Anthony Jennings mold.
He doesn't do anything you're not oh my God, he blows you away with his pass rushing skills or whatever, but he just does everything well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that's why Jose Ramirez there at pick 135.
You can never use too many edge guys, and I know we got a lot on the roster right now, but Judon is not the youngest guy.
Right.
Uche will be up for a contract at some point, so you can. I mean, it's a valuable position.
Yep. So the one thing here is that I do have a little bit of that gap between picks, which the Patriots don't typically love doing that, but nevertheless. I go from 135 all the way to 192, and I go with Mo Diabate from Utah. He, of course, is the transfer who took over for Devin Lloyd, who people wanted the Patriots to draft last year. He may not last until the end of the 6th round, but I have the Patriots taking him here, and 6'4", 229. He's a decently big guy. I just think that. I think the Patriots they've been searching for an athletic guy at linebacker. They've been searching for it, right? They draft Cam McGrone. They traded for Mac Wilson. They picked up Raekwon McMillan. They've been searching for that guy. Diabate kind of fits that. He fits that mold of that guy.
Because somebody was talking about them liking him too.
Yeah.
I think maybe Evan Lazar was. So yeah, 100% on board with that.
Yep. So, and then 210 was Jake Moody, and then 233, my final pick of the draft, is Dante Stills, the D tackle from West Virginia, who dominated at the Shrine Bowl. So
I got a buddy of mine who went to West Virginia, and my DMs are constantly full with him sending me various West Virginia player tape. So I've seen a lot of Stills over the years. I'm in, and his brother's in the NFL too already, also a defensive tackle.
Oh, that's right. Is that
Yeah, it's Dante and Darius. I don't remember where he went. But.
Darius Stills. Okay, all right. Yeah. So anyway, so that's and it's one of those things where and I mentioned Sam Roberts in the write up in my mock draft write up. Sam Roberts is a guy who was like a project they drafted last year because they saw some potential in him. You saw some of that potential really in the preseason. I thought he played his ass off in the preseason. But you just need more depth. Those inside guys, you just need a ton of guys. Look at what the Eagles are doing, where they're just rotating guys in and out. And so you need guys that can play, and the more you have, the better, right? And so take a late round flyer on another D tackle. Why the hell not?
Yeah, that's we're at a point in the draft too where it's like you just kind of pick guys who you think might have a high upside. So I'm in.
Right, exactly. So anyway, so you walk away from the draft with your number one wide receiver, a potential number one corner, a starting right tackle, your hopefully center of the future, maybe your deep safety of the future, and then your kicker, and then, an edge guy and a linebacker and, a D tackle, and then maybe, some sort of quarterback from the future. And the big thing about QB and is that typically they retain their value really well, right?
Yeah.
Like even if they don't play for you, even if they don't play well for you, usually you can get something back for them, right? And so I think that's one of those things where it's like, as you said, maybe it's not Hendon Hooker, but I can certainly see them taking another quarterback at some point.
What did the Pats get for Stidham?
Not much. I think they got like a 6th or 7th round pick or something like that. They didn't really get anything for him, but he also didn't really play. So if he had
in an ideal world, Hendon Hooker never sees the field.
Well, that's the thing, right? So, yeah. But even if he plays, even if he shows out in the preseason, then maybe he turns some heads or whatever. So
we'll see.
But we'll see. Dad's Skywalker is asking about Shaun Wade. I can't imagine that Shaun Wade is going to do anything other than get cut by the Patriots this year.
We'll see if they bring him into camp. I liked him coming out too, and he looked good in his very first preseason in Baltimore and all that. But it's a lot of guys ahead of him on the depth chart. He never could break past them, and when he did see the field, he didn't look good. So maybe another offseason and another camp, and he finds something he hasn't already. But
yeah, I don't know, man.
My expectations are incredibly low.
I mean, look, when they signed 2 guys off the street and started them both over Shaun Wade, I was like,
and one of them signed for next year.
Right. So it was just kind of like we'll take this guy off the street instead of you. Like I was like, all right, that's all we need to know. Like he's he's cooked.
And maybe Shaun Wade is in like the safety conversation in the future. I know there was talk about like safety corner. Like he can do. He's kind of versatile back there.
Right.
He's equally good at a lot of different stuff. I just don't know if he's NFL good at any of it.
Well, and that's the thing. Like you wonder. I don't know. Maybe they'd spend this offseason saying, "Hey, Shaun, we're moving you to safety, and let's see what happens when we move you to safety. You're no longer a corner. You're literally not. You're not even going to play corner anymore. You're just going to play safety, and just kind of see what happens."
Josh Bledsoe for like the last safety spot on the team type of thing.
Right, and so you bring him into camp.
I don't even think he'd win that. I thought Josh Bledsoe looked pretty good when he played.
Yeah,
so.
And so that's the thing. It's like, what the hell? You know what I mean? You got him. You might as well bring him into camp. He doesn't cost anything. Not that he doesn't cost anything, but he was a 5th round draft pick or something like that. Like he's not expensive. So, so you keep him the extra year, and if he doesn't pan out, you cut him at the end of camp. You get 90 guys. You get 90 guys at camp, anyways. It's not like So
yeah, you bring in whoever for that.
Right. Exactly.
That's kind of one of the things I've said about like. Well, I know we're going to come back to this, but the whole like Miles Bryant thing, and if he's on the team next year, like for guys like that, like you get 90 guys for camp, and a lot of the guys they're going to sign in the next couple of months are guys they're giving basically no money to. So like just because Shaun Wade is on the roster next year, just because Miles Bryant is on the roster next year, just because Kendrick Bourne is on the roster when we get to August does not mean that they're going to be there at the end.
Very true. And
that's the roster that matters.
I'm against anything with Miles Bryant. It's just in principle. Yeah. But again, I mean, I was very wrong about Jelani Tavai. So, I mean, I wasn't that wrong about Jelani Tavai. He's not like a Pro Bowler, but he's a hell of a lot better than I thought he was.
Yeah. But I think to remember, we kind of get lost in this is that these are human beings, and sometimes like with another year, they get more comfortable and they learn new things, and they're able to just figure things out they didn't. Every year, players surprise you, both good and bad. So
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And they also are like, I want to also stress, I've crapped all over Miles Bryant quite a bit. I'm sure he's a really nice guy. Like the Patriots
Yeah.
keep him around. I'm sure he's like a really nice guy. I'm sure he is, right? Because
And
otherwise he
he's
wouldn't.
very good at football too. In like
I
the
mean-
grand scheme of things,
Yes, comparatively speaking to the rest of the world,
he would.
he's great.
Yeah, he would. If he hit either one of us, he'd probably
would
put
die.
us in the hospital.
Yeah, it'd be okay. But it is one of those things, So we'll see.
Yeah,
We'll see what
Yeah,
happens,
it's-
and he can.
and there's a unique amount of talent and ability you need to be good enough at football to get to the NFL, but
Right.
bad enough to look bad in the NFL, so everybody hates you.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's like, I still remember Mark Bellhorn when he played for the Red Sox, and my cousin was bitching about, this guy Bellhorn.
The
sucks,
the Mark Bellhorn home run was at the pesky pole he hit in the postseason. Iconic moment.
Oh, unbelievable, right? Yeah, no. So he, my cousin was bitching about him or whatever. My uncle was like, "Oh yeah, you know what? Like, let's look him up." So they looked him up online, and he the high school, like the football stadium in his not even the baseball stadium, the football stadium in his high school was named after Mark Bellhorn. It's like, he just was the best player to ever come out of his town. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, don't forget, this guy's really good.
Yeah,
So,
and that's
but yes, that does get lost sometimes when people are like, you suck, and it's like, well, yeah, I mean, comparatively speaking, he does, but like. Also, comparing to other people,
he's earned the right onto that field.
You know what I mean? Right. So, good point. Touche, salesman. So, it's also the NFL awards are going on currently right now.
Do we have Hall of Fame yet?
We do not have
I've been
Hall of Fame
refreshing.
yet. It'd be pretty crazy if Ty Law got inducted into the Hall of Fame while we're live on
Yeah.
air. That'd be pretty dope. But we do have the NFL has created the Jim Brown Award. Awarded annually to the player who leads the league in rushing yards. And that, of course, was awarded to Josh Jacobs this year, which is pretty cool.
Ooh,
Soon to be free agent, Josh Jacobs,
yeah.
as a matter of fact. So,
Yeah.
But anyways, and then comeback player of the year was Geno Smith. I mean, no surprise there. Like he
He earned that.
100%.
Yeah.
So,
And if we're waiting on the Hall of Fame stuff, I have a completely unrelated question to ask you.
let's
I
hear
just
it.
want your opinion. I was doing this on another podcast earlier. We were having this discussion. What's the best type of pizza, New York or Chicago?
Oh, it's not even close. It's not even close. It's obviously New York. It's not even close.
Oh boy,
No one's. Do you prefer deep dish pizza?
I love deep dish pizza.
Oh,
It's
my
so
Lord.
good.
If I wanted pie, I would eat pie. I want pizza.
It's so good. The
Is it,
cheese is fantastic.
I don't know. Maybe I haven't had enough Chicago style pizza, but like,
I've only had it a couple times in my life. I had it, and it was like life changing. It was so
Yeah.
good. I mean, pizza. I like all pizza, but
Right. I understand. I get you. I mean, I think to me, a good slice of like a really good slice of pizza. It's got a little crunch. It's got a little crunch to it, right? You want a little texture, and then I like it nice and flat. I don't, maybe a few
See, I
bubbles
don't
in
know.
there to get the, you know what I mean?
I don't always love the thin crust. Like I need to have a little thickness, a little chew.
Oh, yeah. No, and I don't mean thin crust because sometimes the thin crust is too thin and then it gets to be like hard. I don't want it.
Feels like
hard.
you're eating a cracker with melted
Yes.
cheese on top.
Yeah, no, that's no bueno. I don't like that. But like, I need it. I need like just a little bit. Give me a little crunch in there, and I don't. Put it this way, I don't want to eat my pizza with a fork and knife, right? And I feel like when you get Chicago style, you kind of have to eat it with a fork and knife.
I didn't. You really
know?
don't. If it's good Chicago style, I got a Chicago
guess.
style that had like sausage in it too, and it was so good.
All right. Oh, Dad's having pizza for the Super Bowl. Love it. I think I'm
like
probably
it.
having pizza for the Super Bowl too, but probably just from like Puppuccino.
I'm doing what do you call it? I think I'm doing a buffalo chicken dip. I think we're gonna make some buffalo wings. My buddy's bringing over some wings to make. I don't know. We got a couple people coming over, and I think everybody's bringing something. So we'll see what they end up bringing. Oh, I think my girlfriend's making. She told me today she wants to make cookie cake, and then she wants to like decorate it to be like a football. So
That's cool. I like that. I like that idea. We're doing with my math department. We're doing like a cookie like challenge or whatever to see who can make the best cookies or whatever for Valentine's Day. And so my daughter's been baking and stuff, so she's gonna help me bake a cookie. And I think we're doing like, I'm not 100% sure. We're either doing the Lucky Charms cookie or like some sort of I think it's like cinnamon toast crunch snickerdoodle or something crazy like that.
That
So
sounds so good.
just some sort of like crazy concoction where we just throw a bunch of stuff together and like just make something ridiculous, you know? So,
Oh, that sounds so good. So
but yeah, yep.
Ooh, Thad's making a vanilla and chocolate cake.
Okay.
Oh, a vanilla and a chocolate. Is that one cake that's vanilla and chocolate, or is that two? Are you making
Sounds
a
like
vanilla
two.
cake and a chocolate?
Sounds like
Okay.
two, and I approve of the two because I'm not a big
Yeah.
chocolate cake guy.
Yeah. Hey, Dark Blue Gold says Philly cheesesteak and Kansas City barbecue for you. I have something to share with you because I was having this conversation earlier with my buddy from Philly. I don't know if I can find the link anymore. They have something called the Philly taco.
Okay.
And it's the Philly cheesesteak, but with slices of pizza like wrapped around it.
Bro. All right. What are we doing? What are we doing here, man? Like, wait, that's just we've gone too far. We just don't need that. Like it's
I have
not
to try it once. There's no way it's good, but I have to try it once.
right. It's too much. That's just too much. You know what I mean?
That
And the Philly
it should
cheesesteak,
come with a prepaid ride to the hospital after.
yeah, really should, right? So the Philly cheesesteak sometimes a little too much for me. The cheese,
Really?
it's the cheese sauce on top for me. I love cheesesteaks.
Okay.
I'm like a huge cheesesteak guy. The cheese sauce on top sometimes a little too much. And so I'm like,
Yeah.
you know, and it's like a texture thing for me. I don't love like when I eat a cheesesteak, I'm like, and I call it a steak and cheese, but when I eat a cheesesteak, like I'm like, you know what? That's the other thing. Provolone. I'm out. Hundo.
You don't like
100%
provolone?
I don't.
Oh, I love provolone. I used to eat that by the slice as a kid.
I'm one of those guys. Like I like American cheese. I'll eat cheddar too, but I like American or cheddar cheese. I like sharp cheddar as well. But you can't
like
really put sharp
mozzarella?
cheddar in it. Well, I mean, obviously everyone likes mozzarella.
Okay.
I mean, like, you know, but I'm not like a provolone Swiss. Like I don't like any of the like anything that tastes a little funky. I'm out. It's got that
You like
like
blue cheese?
no.
Oh.
Nope. So I mean, I'll dunk my buffalo in blue cheese if I have to, but like, I prefer ranch. Really, I don't. To be honest with you, I don't dunk my buffalo wings. I don't.
Yeah, that's my first thing. If the wings are good, I don't need to dunk them.
Yeah.
But I don't have a ranch blue cheese preference. I just like them both. If it's there in front of me and I feel like dipping, I'll just dip. And I'll see what it is when I bite into it.
Yeah,
But
that's true. And I'll do the same usually. I mean, you know, it's like whatever. If it's blue cheese, it's blue cheese. If it's ranch, it's ranch. But yeah, I don't know, man. When I pick up the cheesesteak to eat it, right? I'm like, I just want to eat it. I don't want to get it everywhere. Like I feel like the Philly cheesesteak, you eat it and it's just like it's all over your face. It's dripping down your shirt. It's like it's a mess. You know what I mean?
See, I had my first real authentic like Philly cheesesteak when I was in Philly a week and a half ago, and it lived up to the hype.
Well,
it was good.
And so that's the other part of it is that I've never actually been to Philly yet. So I've had cheesesteaks, but they're not like the authentic Philly cheesesteak. So I think April break, we're going down to DC, and on the way back up from DC, I think we're stopping in Philly for a night. And I will be getting a cheesesteak when I go there. And so
all right, I'll send you some recommendations from a buddy that lives there. Yeah. He knows all the cheesesteak spots.
that might change my mind. I might change my mind when I get an actual legit Philly cheesesteak. So
you know who I think has a good steak and cheese? This is a New England thing right here. D'Angelo. The number 9 at D'Angelo. That.
D'Angelo's steak and cheese. D'Angelo's steak and cheese is the best steak and cheese around here. It is.
Yeah. Every time I would take like any kind of road trip in New England with my parents growing up, if we were anywhere near D'Angelo, stopping, we're all getting number 9.
So now what's funny is that D'Angelo and Papagino's have combined now, so it's like one store. So now it's like you go in and you get Papagino's pizza, but then you get D'Angelo's steaks. It's interesting. So
now you got me. Here's the thing. I don't need to eat more food, but we've had this whole conversation.
We're just talking about food.
I'm gonna go eat something after this. I'm gonna go to the bodega or something and get a sandwich.
You can tell it's the off season because we've devolved into food talk. But it is important. It's an important conversation to have because
I can always talk about food.
Yeah. Oh, and especially before Super Bowl Sunday. I mean, I feel like Super Bowl Sunday's all.
You gotta know what you're gonna make. Exactly, and well, here's the thing. It depends. If the Patriots are not playing in it, it's all about the food. If the Patriots are playing in it, I'm not even gonna think about the food until right before. Like I'm locking myself in my room. I'm not watching with anybody else. Like it's a religious experience.
100%. No, the Patriots are playing. I remember it was funny because I was looking back at just Facebook memories and stuff. And when the Patriots played the Giants in 2011, me and my buddy, my daughter, my wife was like 8 months pregnant. No, that's not true. It was 2012. So no, my daughter was born. She was born. I'm like, anyways. So my daughter was born, less than a year old though. So we can't watch at my house, right? I don't really want to watch it at his house. And so my other buddy, his whole family was going to like 3 different parties. So they were like, his parents were going one place, he was going to another place, his sister was going to another spot. And he's like, listen, there's gonna be no one at my house if you guys want to watch the game. So me and my buddy went to our other friend's house by ourselves and watched the game by ourselves at the game. Because we're like, we don't want to listen to anyone at freaking Super Bowl parties. We want to watch the game.
No.
You know what I mean?
No, and let me say, there's like, I'm like, obviously Super Bowl parties like more casual or whatever, but there's one type of fan that I cannot stand, and that's the person who's like talking through the game and then shushing you for the commercials.
Yes.
If you ever do that at a Super Bowl party I'm hosting, you're out.
Oh yeah, no, 100%.
Immediate. Like that. That's no. Yeah. And if it's the Patriots, it's like I'm.
Oh yeah.
It's a select few that are allowed to be near me when I'm watching the Patriots.
No, I can't do it. Breaking news, some breaking news. We have the 2023 Hall of Fame class.
Hit me with it.
Rondé Barber.
Good one.
Joe Thomas.
I like it.
Zach Thomas.
All right, Dolphins linebacker.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
DeMarcus Ware.
Deserved.
Don Coryell. Coach contributor.
Well, that is well overdue.
In a long time. Yep. Chuck Howley. The senior ones were Chuck Howley, Joe Klecko.
Oh yeah, I love Joe Klecko.
And Ken Riley. And also former Patriots cornerback, number 24, Darrelle Revis.
Oh, I thought you were going Tyler Law. You psyched me out.
I had you there. I had you going. Yes, Darrelle Revis. But hey, I mean, he did play.
You could have gone one level deeper too. They're from the same town.
Yeah, I know. It's pretty crazy, right? In Pittsburgh. Yeah. So
Ty Law, he should be in the Hall of Fame.
I mean, and listen,
I can't argue with the Revis. Revis is one of the best ever. He can go first, but
no offense to Joe Thomas. I mean, no offense to I'm sorry. No offense to Zach Thomas.
Yeah,
Ty Law deserves to be in over Zach Thomas. I know Zach Thomas had the counting staff, really but good. Zach Thomas racked up the tackles, but that's all he really did was just tackle.
Ty Law was so good that he made the Colts go to the NFL and complain about the rules.
Right. Yeah, no, he was that good. I mean, he was unbelievable. In picking Manning off 3 times in one game in the playoffs, having the
pick six in the Super Bowl.
Man, he was.
How many guys have a pick 6 in the Super Bowl? That's got to be a pretty small company, right?
Not many. Well, you got Dexter Jackson who had 2 or something like that. No, not Dexter Jackson. What the hell was it? What the hell was the guy's name who won MVP for the Cowboys and then sucked the rest of his career?
And that was the guy. Was he the guy who won it when the Cowboys lost too?
Yes, Alford.
Robert Alford.
Oh, never mind. No, that's from the Falcons. Falcons Super Bowl. Yeah. What the hell was his name,
man? Was he the guy who won MVP when the Cowboys lost? Because he
had
2 pick sixes or whatever? Or that might have been a linebacker for them.
I think it was against I want to say it was against the Steelers.
Was it Super Bowl 30 against the Steelers, or was it the one against the Bills?
No, I think it was the Neil O'Donnell game. Okay. Where Neil O'Donnell threw like a billion interceptions in that game. Let's see. Super Bowl MVP award. Let's hold on. I got it. I'm coming. It's coming. Not soon, not quickly. It's not coming. Not quickly enough. But let's see.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I love Rondé Barber, but I think Ty Law should get in above him too.
I agree. That I agree with as well. Dexter Jackson. I was right. I knew it was Dexter. Did I say
Dexter
was
Jackson he for? You did. Okay. Was he for the Buccaneers in 2002?
Oh, he was the Bucs. You're right. He was the Bucs, and then he got signed by the Cowboys.
Okay.
I think he got signed by the Cowboys, and they paid him like $1 million. They paid him tons of money, and he was terrible.
Yeah. Dark Blue James Harrison was a pick 6.
That's not even right. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Say that one more time.
Dark Blue Gold just said asking about James Harrison. That was a pick 6. So James Harrison is in this conversation.
Just an absolutely terrible, just a terrible play. A terrible.
One of the funniest plays ever.
Man, and Kurt Warner just he had Larry Fitz open in the back of the end zone and threw it. Try to get it in there. Stupid.
I can't believe they lost that game. You know what? Speaking of that game, I've been playing Madden 10 this week. I'm throwing it back, and that's the one with Larry Fitz and Troy Polamalu on the cover from that Super Bowl. It's the Madden that came out after that.
Oh, nice. There you go.
Yeah, it was just a fun one. That was a great Super Bowl.
The guy I was thinking about was Larry Brown.
Okay.
Larry Brown in Super Bowl 30, which was the Steelers. Yep, I was right about that.
That was Steelers Cowboys. That was out in LA, maybe, or I think it was.
Yeah, Larry Brown, 12th round draft pick. He was a 12th round draft pick, and I think he. I don't know. I don't have the thing in front. I can't find the thing in front of me. I'm pretty sure he had multiple interceptions. I'm almost positive.
Yeah, we have our MVP now. By the way, if you haven't seen it already,
yes.
Do you want to guess who it is?
Oh, I know. I saw it.
Okay, yeah, it's Patrick Mahomes. Which
it is.
That's the right call too. I love what Jalen Hurts has done this year, but Mahomes was the best player in the NFL.
No, deservedly so. And I think the thing for me with him is that he's what's insane is that he's so freaking good. He lost.
He's gotten better.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Like, if that's what he does is incredible. And I think back to the opening drive, was it against the Jaguars in the divisional round, where they hit him on every play, and every single one of them was a completion, and he wasn't throwing right on any of them. But yeah,
it just didn't impact him. He's like, no, it's fine.
Yeah. If there's a quarterback playing right now who's going to go down to end up being the GOAT, and he's going to take the throne from Tom Brady, it's Mahomes. He's the only guy who's got a shot.
100%. 100%. So, by the way, Larry Brown in that Super Bowl only had 2 interceptions, and neither of them were returned for touchdowns. Though one of them was for 33 yards, and the other one was for 44 yards, but neither of them were touchdowns. So, anyways, he's right. So Thad says, and I agree with him, Mahomes not going to lose the Super Bowl. And the reason why is because we talk about this on the last week or 2 weeks ago, didn't we? The last MVP to win the Super Bowl was Kurt Warner in 1999.
Yeah.
And so, it's just,
which is crazy. That was a 3-year run there. Kurt Warner, Marshall Faulk, Kurt Warner was the MVPs. That's wild.
Yeah. Yep. So it's really, I think it's going to be interesting to see what transpires there. But I think the QBs are I think MVPs are 0-9 or something like that in the Super Bowl since that time. So
I have the list up. So yeah, Warner in 01 lost. Rich Gannon was MVP in 02. I didn't even realize that.
Yeah.
He lost to them. 03 it was Manning and McNair, and neither of them made it.
Yeah, they both lost to the Patriots. Yeah.
04 was Manning. I wonder why he didn't make it. Man, that's bizarre to have him win MVP in back-to-back years and not make the Super Bowl. That's crazy.
Lose the same team in the playoffs. Although, what's interesting is that neither Manning nor Brady ever lost a home playoff game to each other.
No, it was all the home teams in this.
It's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. Sean Alexander in 05 lost in the Super Bowl. 06, LaDainian Tomlinson. Wow. To have a season like LaDainian Tomlinson did that year and not make the Super Bowl, that's wild.
Yep.
I wonder who knocked him out. 07, Brady, obviously.
Skip that one.
Yeah, 08, Manning. 09, Manning. They lost the Super Bowl. 2010, oh, yikes. That was Brady. 2011, Rodgers didn't make it. Yeah, he got knocked out by the Giants.
Oh, yeah, in the first round, didn't he? Didn't they lose in the first round? Was that the year they were 15-1? And lost in the first round?
They were 15-1, but I think they lost in the second round. No, it was the first round, because then the Giants played in San Fran in the NFC Championship. Yeah.
Yep.
Peyton in 2013 lost the Super Bowl.
Yep.
Cam Newton in 15 lost the Super Bowl. Matt Ryan in 16. Man,
yeah,
that's tough to be as good as he was and lose the Super Bowl.
17 was Brady, right? And 17 was Brady again. Yep.
Yeah, and then
18 was Mahomes. No, 18 was Lamar.
Well, 18 Mahomes, 19 Lamar. Man, Mahomes that good in 2018.
I know.
You're not going to make the Super Bowl.
So it's a lot. It's a lot of MVPs. I think it's 9. We didn't count them off.
I wasn't counting. I was too busy.
We did a crappy job of counting it off.
Yeah, I was too busy making jokes. But yeah. By the way, Schefter tweeted out some guys who were eligible for the Hall next year. I can read you some of these names. You tell me if you think they're in or not.
Let's do it.
Julius Peppers.
Probably in.
Yeah, I agree. Antonio Gates.
Yeah, probably should be in. Yep.
Eric Berry.
No.
Give D-Max not getting in. I don't think Berry's getting in. I think they're about the same. Brandon Marshall.
No.
Hall of Very Good, I think. Haloti Nada.
No.
Jamal Charles.
No.
The next name killed me. It's Doug Baldwin.
Doug Baldwin. Get out of here with that.
Jordy Nelson. Connor Barwin.
Come on, bro. What are we doing?
Sebastian Janikowski. That'd be fun if Seabass got it.
That would be fun. He's not gonna and he shouldn't, but it'd be funny.
Kyle Williams. Hall of Very Good.
Who the hell's Kyle Williams? Oh,
Bills.
the D line. Get out of here with that.
Hall of Very Good. You're gonna love the last one he mentioned. It's Andrew Luck.
Jesus Christ! Come on, dude. That's just outrageous.
I love that. Yeah. I love the trolling from Schefter there.
Yeah. It's just
Yeah. Mahomes killed Hurts in the MVP voting. It wasn't close.
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah,
he got 48 of 50 first place votes, almost unanimous.
Yeah, it's not really surprising, but
do you want to hear the list of all of the players who got an MVP vote?
Also, and by the way, Evan Lazar just tweeted out, and he's 100% right. Devin freaking Hester didn't make the Hall of Fame again. And it's like, it's Devin Hester, bro.
Devin Hester should be a Hall of Famer.
He's unbelievable.
You can't tell the story of the
man ever.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, like Hester, Vinatieri, Slater, all these are guys that should be in. They got as good as they can get at the things that they did. Justin Tucker, like all these guys should be Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
You can't tell the story of the game when they played. You can't tell the story of that Super Bowl against the Colts, the Bears. Like returning that, like Devin Hester's the only reason that was remotely competitive for any stretch.
Well, I mean that's the thing. They literally kicked the ball out of bounds instead of kicking it to Devin Hester.
Yeah, he had such an impact on the game. So would you like to hear everybody who got an MVP vote?
Let's hear it.
Now, keep in mind you could vote first through fifth for this. So a number of these names only got fifth place votes for MVP, which is going to explain a lot of what I'm about to read to you. So Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Justin Jefferson, Nick Bosa, and now here's they all had at least 20 points from the voting. The way it's calculated, I believe none of the rest of the people here had above third place vote. Nobody below here had above a fifth place vote. No, Lawrence had 1 4th place, and then everybody else is all fifth place. So Trevor Lawrence, Micah Parsons, AJ Brown,
what?
Justin Fields,
what?
Tyreek Hill, Justin Herbert, Derrick Henry, Geno Smith, Tua Tagovailoa, and Danny Kellington.
Who? Who the hell's Danny Kellington?
I don't know. I know the name. I don't know who he is, though.
Wait a second. Geno Smith now has more MVP votes than Russell Wilson.
I know why Danny. Okay, I know why. I'm a bit of a jerk now. We're a bit jerks for not knowing who Danny Kellington is here. He is the Bills medical trainer who revives DeMar Hamlin.
Oh, Denny Kellington.
Yeah,
Denny got it. But I mean, come on.
I did not expect his name in the
player.
Voting.
I'm like, what the
I get it. I do like that somebody gave him a vote, and now he'll always show up for that. That's kind of
cool. Real MVP, right? Like, come on, dude.
It's fair enough to show up on the list, but that is not what I expected to be seeing.
Not at all. It's kind of funny. Yeah. I want to know who. I want to know who did it.
I'm very curious.
You know, but hey, Geno Smith, 1 MVP vote. Russell Wilson, 0 MVP votes for his career. So there you go.
Very curious how that goes.
Geno Smith, year. Greater than sign Russell Wilson.
Yeah. I'm curious how that goes. With what's his face up there.
It's going to be an unmitigated disaster.
I do. Here's the thing. I think Russell Wilson can be good. I think the issue is he wants to play his style, which he isn't as good at anymore.
Yeah.
And now that the Broncos have invested so heavily in a coach, they can basically be like, "Hey, we're siding with him over you, so you listen to it, or we're going to go with somebody else."
Right.
And if he's smart enough, he'll actually buy into the system. And I think if he buys into the system with that talent, it could be a good team. Maybe not great, but they can be fine. I don't think he's Russell Wilson. I don't think he shouldn't be as bad as he was this year.
Yeah, I agree. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Someone voted for. I still can't believe someone voted for Tua. Like, who the hell's voting for Tua?
Yeah, Geno Smith for MVP? No, that was Mina Kimes. I bet. Just a Seahawks fan.
Right. But anyways, it's it's always fun to kind of see those. And then Dak won Walter Payton Man of the Year, which is cool. So.
Oh, nice. Good for him.
So good for Dak.
I know Dak gets like memed on a ton, but he's like it's only because they paid him a lot and he played for the Cowboys. Like he's not a great quarterback. He's a good quarterback. He seems like a very good person. Like,
yeah. By the way, Schefter just tweeted out that the vote for Denny Kellington came from Susie Colbert.
Oh, nice.
Was she on the field? Was she the one that was on the field?
No, she was in the studio for ESPN.
That's right. Okay.
Yeah.
I knew she was there, but I couldn't remember. I mean, obviously she wasn't at the game, but I knew she was there, like on air that night. I couldn't remember.
Yeah. I like that. I like that he gets the honors for that. That is cool that whenever you talk about this, like his name will have to come up as a guy who got a vote.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
So yeah, good for him. He is most valuable trainer. That is for sure.
100%. Also, he also now has more MVP votes than Russell Wilson. So, just another little thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's like when Vince Wilfork, and I think I erroneously said that he hadn't passed him, but Jamal Adams has now passed Vince Wilfork. I think Jamal Adams has 3 career interceptions where Vince only has 2. But that was always my favorite stat, that Vince Wilfork had more career interceptions than Jamal Adams.
Oh my
This is so stupid, But anyways. So all right, we're about an hour in, so let's get into our last segment here. You got anything else you want to? Oh wait, do you want to do some prop bets? We got to do our picks.
We're doing prop bets. We're doing Super Bowl preview. We can kind of do these as one too, because one of the bets will always be the what do you call it? Who wins? But yeah, I highlighted a couple here. So and I'll probably tweet this out later for anybody who is interested. But there's one particular prop betting sheet I like. If you're looking for one for your party, it has, how many questions does it have? Doesn't even say. Oh my god, it has a ton. It has like 67 props on it. And basically one sheet. You fill it out. I like to print it out with my buddies for the party, and we print one for everybody. We all fill them out. We put them in a pile. Everybody throws in like $5. Whoever gets the most right gets the money. It's a fun time. And I've done this going back. I think the first year I did this was that Saints-Ravens Super Bowl that had the what am I saying? Saints-Ravens, 49ers-Ravens in the Saints Stadium when the power went out. Done it for that long, so I recommend it. I grabbed 5 props here, some fun ones for you, Pat. If you want to give some answers for these.
Oh, let's hear it.
All right, so we got one player one for the Chiefs.
Okay.
Over or under 1.5 Patrick Mahomes passing touchdowns.
I gotta go over on that one.
Yeah, I tend to agree, but the fact that it's even that low has me concerned.
Yeah.
I'm going over, but I don't feel good about it.
No.
Player prop for the Eagles here. Hassan Reddick sacks. The over-under is 0.5. So does he get any sacks or no?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
He's getting a sack.
I also agree. So we're 2 for 2 here. Third one, we're going off to the football and on to the commercials.
Okay.
Yes or no, a Doritos commercial plays before an M&M's commercial.
Ooh. I'm going to go with yes, only because M&M's, I think, is now Maya Rudolph is the person that is they had, remember that whole stupid fallout with, who was I don't even know. That was stupid.
Yeah.
But I think Maya Rudolph is going to be the person. I don't know.
I'm going no. I think we get M&M's first because I think this is all lead up to some ad campaign where they're going to come in with Maya Rudolph and it's going to be just a kind of a fake out and they're going to go back to the original thing.
Maybe you're right.
Yeah, that's my read on this. All right, so we got a difference there. And we got two just kind of fun props here. Yes or no? Will the jersey number of the player scoring the first touchdown be under 11.5? So if the person goes into the end zone with it.
Got it. Person goes into the end zone under 11.5. Whew, man. I'm going to go. Well, of course, it also depends who scores first. But if you believe the Eagles are going to score first, the smart money would be on under because you have A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith, who are both wear jerseys under 11.
And Jalen Hurts is number one. He'll
And
run
of course,
it in,
Jalen
too.
Hurts. Yes. Yep. Very true. So, as a guy who wants to see the Eagles win, I'm going to take the under on this one. Of course, the Eagles probably going to score, and it's going to be freaking Miles Sanders. But I'm gonna go with the under on this one.
I'll go the other way with this, just because I feel like if the Chiefs score first, it's almost definitely going to be Travis Kelce.
Right.
And all it takes there is the coin flip if the Chiefs getting the ball first. And if the Eagles get it, there's a couple guys who can score who are above that. So it'll be like Quez Watkins gets the first touchdown, and we're all like, what?
Yeah. Well, you know what's funny is I feel like the money to be made would be on the under. Like if they have, if there was one of those ones where it was like a plus minus type thing, where where they're giving you money on one side or the other. I would think the money that they're giving you would be on the minus side.
I think Mahomes could get a rushing touchdown too.
Very true. He wears 15. So he'd be over too.
And he got one in the Super Bowl they played against the Niners, if I'm remembering that one correctly. So
yeah, I think you're right.
He got the first touchdown of that game. So
yeah. Could happen.
All right. And the final one, yes or no? Will points be scored with under 2 minutes left in the game?
I mean, you kind of have to feel like. I hope not, because if it does, it probably means the Chiefs are going to win. But I'm going to say, man, the Chiefs and the they're both just so good. I'm going to say yes because they're both just such good teams. Now, the only thing is that the Eagles could get the ball with the lead and just kill the clock, or the Chiefs could do the same thing theoretically. But the way that both these teams have played kind of all year, and really for the Chiefs the last few years, I'm going to go with yes.
I'm going no. I think, and this is we're going to talk about the game here, but I think the Chiefs win. Sorry, the Eagles win. I think they blow them out. Not blowout. Not like Bucks
like 14
Chiefs a couple years ago. Yeah, like 10 points.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll be one of those where the Chiefs get the ball back with 3 minutes left looking to do something, and the drive will stall somewhere on fourth down, and that'll be it.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, it certainly could happen. That would be interesting. And I think the Eagles are the better team. I think they're the better all-around team. I think they have a better defense. Obviously, I think they have as good, if not a better, offense than the Chiefs have, which is saying a lot because the Chiefs have really good offense, obviously with Mahomes, and they don't have anyone on the team that's as good as Travis Kelce is at what he does. But they have A.J. Brown, who's pretty damn good, and they have Devonta Smith, who's pretty damn good. And the biggest thing for me. The biggest reason why I think the Eagles win this game is because they have a significantly better offensive line and they have a significantly better defensive line. And I know that the Chiefs have Chris Jones, who's a problem with a capital P. But the Eagles have like 7 guys. They're like 7 guys deep. They just don't get tired because they can throw so many guys out there,
I think they have they might have the best offensive line of football too.
Yeah.
So you put it all together, and games are won in the trenches, and Mahomes is really good. The Chiefs will probably stay competitive, but to me, this feels like the type of game where the Eagles wear them down, and it's close going into the fourth, and ends up as like either a 2-score game or it's 1 score, but because the Chiefs kind of backdoor it.
Right. Yeah, they're down by like
they'll be down by 14
down by
late, and they'll score a touchdown,
and
then not get the onside kick and not get the ball back or whatever.
Right. Yeah. No, certainly. I mean, it is interesting to see what happens. But again, and this is the biggest thing for me. And if you're a Chiefs fan at this point, right, you got to be like the Patriots were back in the day, right? You feel like Mahomes gives you a chance in any game against any opponent, no matter what the situation is. You feel like we have Patrick Mahomes and you don't, right? And that's enough because he's done it over and over and over again. And it's not what's crazy about Mahomes is that it's not just like Oh, he engineers a drive like Brady's engineered a million drives. He engineers a drive in like 10 seconds, 30 seconds,
It's not a
25
drive,
seconds.
it's a
crazy.
play.
Right. And so that's the stuff for me where it's like, he just seems to do those things. He did it against the Patriots in 2018 to force overtime. He did it against, obviously against the Bills to win the game, to force overtime
He's a
again.
video
like,
game glitch.
Crazy.
Like
Yeah.
he's, you know how you play video games and you're like you'll hit the other quarterback as hard as possible in Madden.
Yeah.
And he's still like, it's an 80-yard pass for a touchdown. You're like, well, that couldn't happen. Well, Mahomes does it.
Right. And that's why he's so good. It's crazy. And again, as a Patriots fan, I'm rooting against the Chiefs because what you care about is the legacy of your team. And the legacy of your team is Brady. That's the legacy of your team. And what Brady was able to do here, how he won 6 Super Bowls. Mahomes now, in 5 years, has been to the AFC Championship game every single year, has been to 3 Super Bowls. That's at some point it's going to slow down, but like that's pretty unbelievable. If he wins 2 here, if he wins his 2nd Super Bowl here, he's probably not going to catch Brady. But like, if there's anyone that's going to do it, it's going to be him. So like, you got to root against him every time he's out there. You have to.
Yeah. Oh, on the flip side of it too, is Jalen Hurts is incredibly likable as a person. He's just really like, I haven't heard a bad thing about him. He's such a great guy. I love him. He's fun to watch play, and I don't know. I like a good running game. I think a good running game is really fun to watch. Yeah. I really enjoy AJ Brown. Devonta Smith was my favorite player in college football. That year he won the Heisman. Like I have always loved him. The Eagles just have likable guys, and Hassan Reddick is fun too.
Yeah.
And like, I have a very much a love-hate relationship with Eagle fans. Because I think they're very similar to Boston sports fans, and Boston fans are probably going to hate to hear that, but they're the same breed, and it's why we hate each other so much.
I mean, the Eagles are. I have a
mutual, as a mutual respect there. I get what that's like.
The Eagles are a little more feral,
The Eagles, the Philly fans are Boston fans with less success. So if they get the success, they'll be right there with us. I hope they don't. But I wouldn't be rooting for Philly if this was against like the Bengals, but I'll root for them against the Chiefs.
Yeah. Yep. Agreed. So
and hey, I want to point out what Dark Blue Gold said about like if he keeps getting these games, he deserves to kind of get close to Brady or whatever. And I think that is fair. Like I want Brady to have these records for forever. I do, the legend. But if Mahomes is also that good, I'm not going to be mad at him for getting up there. If you put it this way, if anybody ever takes the title of GOAT from Tom Brady, they will have earned that. And if they do that, they will you've got my respect.
Yeah. No, and that's definitely true. By the way, breaking news, one more name added to the list of first-time eligible players for the Pro Football Hall of Fame. That'd be the one and only Matt Castle will be eligible for the
legend.
Hall of Fame. He pointed
11
out
and 5 as a starter in 08. Matt
That's
Castle.
right, baby. He pointed out to Schefter. He's like, "Don't forget about me, Adam." And he goes, "And Matt Castle." Sorry about that.
So this would be anybody who last played in 2018, correct?
Yeah, 5 years out. Yep.
So who else last played in that year? I'm curious.
Oh,
who are the other random players that are now?
I couldn't even tell you. I don't even want to begin to look it up. So, anyway.
Wait, was Jason? Oh no, Jason McCourty came back. Never mind.
Yeah, J-Mac came back for one more year. So
yeah.
Oh, all right.
Is that gonna
all right.
do it?
Yeah, we'll do our final segment. Oh wait, I'm picking Philly. Are you picking Philly too? You have to pick Kansas City.
I already put money on Philly.
Oh baby.
Should we take the prop bets I picked and put them towards our thing?
Yeah, let's do that. We'll do that.
Okay.
So you have what, 3? We have 3 different ones, right?
Yeah, because we have I have M&M's first. I've got jersey number over and points scored no. So I've got it highlighted in my thing. I'll write that down.
Yeah, write that down and we'll go from there.
Yeah.
So I like it. I like it.
Yeah,
so
and everybody stay safe. Super Bowl weekend. Make sure you drive safe.
No, hold on. We still have one more segment to do.
Oh shoot! I didn't prepare anything for that.
Can't forget about that segment. That's right. I have 2.
Oh, let me frantically look something up while you stalled.
We'll go with my 2. All right, here we go. While you're looking, here we go.
And now for something we think you'll really like. This week in sports history.
All right, so I have two. One going back all the way to 1540, and that is when that was in Chester, England, where the first recorded race meet was ever ran in Chester, England, in 1540. So there you go. There's one for you there. And in 1971, all this talk of the Hall of Fame, 1971, Satchel Paige becomes the first Negro League player elected into the Baseball Hall of Fame in 1971. And those are both on February 9th. So one of them, 1540, February 9th, 1540, and one of them, February 9th, 1971. This is why you come here. I mean, how often are you going to get historical events from 1540 talked about during a Patriots podcast? Come on now.
You are reaching deep there. You got to those fast. I didn't have time to look anything else up.
Sorry, that's my fault. I had them queued up already. What do you want me to do?
I forgot about that. Well, because we're past the point where you can really do the Patriots one. That's usually where I go.
I know. Oh, look at this dark blue gold one. 1996. IBM computer Deep Blue becomes the first computer to win a game of chess against the reigning human chess champion, Garry Kasparov. Just an embarrassing day for Gary, unfortunately.
Brutal.
You know, so now, I mean, you could never beat a computer and friggin'. Well, I guess theoretically you could, but it'd be difficult. So if it was really,
I don't have one for this week.
It's fine. It's fine. I got two.
Yeah.
Dark Blue Gold's got one.
We'll make it up next week. I'll get you two next week.
You have two next week. That's all. So, but yes, that's what we got. To reiterate what you were saying, be safe, have fun, don't do anything stupid.
Yeah.
It's
drive safe.
Right.
Call an Uber if you need it. But
yes, it is Super Bowl weekend, which is great, but you don't want to ruin that with getting pulled over or friggin' crashing your car on the ride home or doing something stupid, So
yeah,
so go out there and have fun, but be safe and enjoy it, and hopefully, the Dark Blue Gold is picking a canceled game because he wants both sets of fans to riot.
here's hoping, and hey, cheers to this being the last time for a while we're doing podcasts like this time of year.
That's very true. You never know. So, but we'll see.
Once the Pats have T. Higgins and Malik Hooker next year, they're gonna rock out.
That's right. I love it. I love it. So, well, anyways, that does it for us. And the next time we talk to you, it'll officially be the 2023 off season. And so we'll be geared up talking more mock drafts and more players and prospects and all that good stuff. So Combine's right around the corner. So get excited, people, and have a great weekend.
Have a safe weekend.